All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to my news channel, TMossBoss and News. And in today's news video, we are going to be talking about how this is tweeted out by Los Angeles Times, Canadian flew to California, posed as Amazon driver to try to kill woman he met in online gaming. Yeah, bro, it's one of those things where you gotta be extremely careful with, I guess, the information that you give out and stuff. If you don't want people to know your name, don't tell them. I'm like, lie about that stuff. I guess, like, for just protection reasons and things. Yeah, because people they can be crazy, and yeah, and this guy he displayed it, but I'm trying to figure it out. Like, dang, just seeing his face and stuff. I'm like, did the woman do that? Because I'm like, if she did, I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things. She's like, all right, bro, you show up here if you want to. But anyways, yeah, there was like Devin Wolfgang Vander Hoff. I think that's how you say his name. 26 traveled from British Columbia to Monterey County. I think that's maybe how it's pronounced. But anyways, and they plan to kill a woman he met through online gaming. Posing as an Amazon delivery driver, Vanderhoff forced his way into her home, stabbed the woman's boyfriend, and attempted to choke her. Vanderhoff was convicted in a jury trial and sentenced to two consecutive terms for attempted murder. What does that mean? Life or if I don't. Yeah, that's crazy. I just thought he just showed up and then probably got stumped out. But dang, he was actually trying to kill somebody behind that. That is wild. But anyways, a Canadian. Yeah, there was like Canadian. Okay, it's two consecutive life sentences. Okay, for the attempted murder of two people in Monterey County. I don't know. One of whom he met online. Then there's like 26 North and met a woman who lives in Salinas through online gaming in November 2024. He traveled from Canada. So that I'm assuming that they probably had to have been playing the game for a while. Purchased knives, handcuffs, and duct tape, surveyed the home workplace of the victim. That's crazy. Luckily, they say, yeah, they survived. Forces when they stabbed the boyfriend. Both victims were able to flee outside, and as the attack continued, boyfriend was able to disarm and stab him. But Vanderhoff tackled the woman and choked her until she could not breathe. But that is crazy. Having been obsessed with the woman for a year, confessed that he had planned the attack for more than a month before flying in California. Prosecutors, he said, his plan was to actually kill someone. The thing is this, right? It's like, yeah, it's like you can't really stop like who you meet online. It's like anybody can meet anybody online and stuff. If you're willing to do some crazy stuff like that for whatever, yeah, you met the girl, it's like, okay, and I'm like, that doesn't give you a right to show up to her house and then you start acting crazy and stuff. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, bro, you deserve to be in prison for the rest of your life. And it's like, yeah, you something is wrong with you. I'm like, if you genuinely believe that it was one of those things where it's like you was gonna get away with it. So luckily he didn't kill nobody. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, again, be careful with who you meet online. You never, even if it's somebody that it's like you can trust, still don't trust them. I'm like, even if that's one of those. So I guess because I feel like people ask, like, okay, so let's say you're talking to somebody. For one, I wouldn't be asking for no personal information. I try to not ask, like, I guess if the conversation is going that route where it's like, oh, it's like, where are you from? But I'm like, oh, what's exactly your address and what hours are you at home and stuff. Like, I'm not asking no weird questions like that. It even just feels weird saying it out loud. But yeah, I might ask, like, oh, where are you from? If they say down south, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm like, like, leave it at that. But I'm like, anyways, lock in. The round's about to start. I'm like, we ain't got time, trying to get to know each other, all that other stuff. Like, I guess with me, I'm like, yeah, there ain't no reason. There's no reason for me to want to be crazy like this. But two, I'm like, I don't need to. If we're talking, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, we know of each other. We friends. We cool. But other than that, I'm like, yeah, anything else? I'm like, yeah, that's weird, bruh. I'm like, it's like the thing is this, like people they get like an entitlement behind that. Like they're like, no, you need to tell me. I'm like, I don't need to tell you nothing. So yeah, I'm like, be careful with who you talk to online and stuff because people are crazy. You hear stories like this all the time. This is just one of those stories where I'm like, yeah, bruh, you could just see it in his face. I'm like, yeah, this man is just, yeah, there's not a thought behind those eyes besides him just doing stuff out of the, in the like, extreme category and stuff. So yeah, probably at some point in time, halfway through his, sentence, yeah, it's like he probably, would be thinking along the lines like, I shouldn't have did what I did. It's like now I'm regretting it and I got to spend the rest of my life in prison. Now it's like you got to have motivational talks with, young minded, either kids like in some Beyond Scared Straight program or somebody that's already in prison, and tell them, I'm like, this is what it is. I'm like, you get that metal bed, you get, maybe a sink and a toilet. If not, gonna have to go somewhere else. But it's like, yeah, bruh, metal bed, rest of your life. I'm like, nothing else. It's like that is, and I'm like, that's one of those things, when you just, I'm a thinker, I overthink. You get to thinking about like and just even watching TV shows and movies and see how it is. Yeah, I'm good, bruh. I'm like, you don't ever have to worry about me doing no stuff like this. I'm like, if it's for a movie, oh yeah, sure. I'm like, I'm trying to win an Oscar, but on some real life stuff, I'm like, nah, bruh. Let's just play the game, leave it at that. So, but anyways, yeah. With that being said, this is a little bit old, but yeah, just giving my opinion on the matter and stuff. Yeah, I'm like, be careful with who you talk to online, but anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and peace.